words. Lie, 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 lie. Now, lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Can you try it? Try it. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 last time. Lie, 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 Whoa! So we are going to start with a film, and you can see it on these two amazing screens.
MIC exists to bring people together across difference. We do that through faith and spiritual communities, about 25 of them. And we bring people together to relate to each other, build relationships, and then move towards building programs and actions that take on different challenges in the community. Family Promise, which is a very large, hundreds of people network that operates very much through faith communities and businesses, where they work together to provide shelter and hospitality with families who are experiencing homelessness.
My husband always talked about the fact that when he was growing up, there was a summer and some other time beyond that his family of 5 kids and were basically homeless. And so he really was the one that encouraged me. Somebody made a difference for his family by taking them in and helping them get on their feet. And so I think in a way it's kind of a giving back. My own kids are now grown, and they're both involved. They help in one way or the other.
Then we have the Housing Advocate Network, which is a network of about 80 different people who commit a substantial amount of their week to be able to walk alongside and journey with folks who don't have housing.
I originally came to try and help with housing after I got out of jail. And then I came back because I wanted something to do, but I didn't know what I wanted to do, so I came back to kind of look for work, and I talked with Emma. She suggested the volunteering, so I went to the training thing and then started volunteering 1 day a week, and then it just kind of grew from there.
And then we have Missoula Works, which exists to be able to create meaningful work for everyone, and especially people with different barriers to employment. And so we run a landscaping, lawn, and labor crew called the Get It Done crew. We run a temp to perm staffing agency that staffs people with local businesses. And then we also just started this new venture that is it's called Missoula Works Sewing Ventures. That is a textile manufacturing company that creates upcycled backpacks and bags and different gear that we use in Missoula.
I started sewing when I was 16 in Germany in a clothing factory, making men's uniforms, military uniforms, and men's suit jackets. I first came here because I moved back from Red Lodge to Missoula, and I was looking for a place to live, and I couldn't find anything that I could afford. And when I went to Missoula Interfaith Collaborative, and they were helping me to sign up for housing authority and for all the different things, and to help me find a place. And that's where I found out that they were going to create a workshop.
I've been through a lot of the things that they've been through, so to be here to talk with them, to share my story with them, to tell them that, you know, show them that it can get better. I think that's what keeps me coming back. I kind of feel like I've been through most everything that everybody's been with, so I have a different perspective. I don't have the book learning, but I got the, experience in life. So there's always something I can usually end up saying to help them with one thing or another. It makes you feel like you matter. And a lot of problems that people have with drugs and mental illness and even going to jail is because they don't feel like they matter to themselves or to anybody else. And some people, that's all they need. And somebody just be there for them and go, yeah, you do matter.
Matt went with me for all the looking at houses, and I didn't feel like I was in this all alone. Daisy has been helping me for a whole year now to renew my green card.
So definitely a great way to start out the year. Apartment, green card.
Yes, yes. This is the first time in my life that I have had a job where I'm respected, I'm treated with kindness. The people here are so helpful, and I am so happy to be working with young people and creative people. We get to put our own ideas into things and find ways to make it better. And I'm just so happy that I get to do that at my age. One of my favorite things is making backpacks. We make them in 3 different sizes. This is the medium one, and it has great fabric and different color combinations. It's fully lined, and it has a hanging pocket inside and many pockets outside. And then we even have a little fanny pack to go with it that you can buy it or separate or together, whatever you like.
What MIC wants to do within our own little world in Missoula, Montana, is to bring people together as much as we possibly can that might be more conservative, that might be more liberal, and to put faces to labels, put stories to labels, put experiences to labels, and to create relationships amongst as many people as possible, whereby hate's not possible.
Everybody, now it's on. Welcome once more. And my name is Lori Franklin. I have to check my notes to make sure that's the case. Yes, I am. I'm Lori Franklin. I'm a rabbi here in Missoula, retired from Congregation Har Shalom. And the reason that I believe in MIC is because I think, as my teacher, Rabbi Zalman Schachter Shalomi taught, the only way we can get it together is together. And I'm Barbara. Was on before? No. Up. How about, oh, there we go. Got it. I told you it was going to be amateur hour. I'm Barbara Wickel, and what I love about MIC was at the very beginning, we were sitting around a table and we were trying to figure out what this organization was going to be. We didn't know if it was going to be a nonprofit or what it was going to be. And sitting there at the table were representatives from Christian congregations, Jews, Muslims, Buddhists, and we started talking about what our congregations wanted and what we thought was going to be the big need. And somebody said, I really want to alleviate suffering and trials. And our Buddhist representative said, wait. We believe that you have to suffer in order to progress. And I thought, oh man, these are my people. Because I love that kind of thing. I love being able to learn new things from people that I may never have met before. But all of these congregations working for a common goal is my big love for MIC. And now tonight we're going to be doing, I'm president of the board, I guess I had to say that. And we're going to be doing a couple of different things. We're going to talk about what MIC is and celebrate the impact that it has. We're going to hear some stories from some of our leaders, and so that you're not surprised, we are going to tell stories of our stories around your tables. You're not going to have to stand up and, whatever. So just at your table, and we're going to give you an opportunity to help support this work. So I'll be asking you for money later, just so you know.
She will. So if you've ever been involved with MIC, you know that we don't sit in our chairs a lot. We do what we have to do, and that means you get up and you do stuff. And so we're going to do a little exercise here just to see some of the unifying elements in this room. It's called Ups and Downs. You might have learned about it from Empower Montana. That's where I learned it. And so what happens is we call out a thing and say, everybody who blah, 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 blah. And then everybody who blah, 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 blah raises their hand or stands up, and we all cheer them. And we'll see who, so if you can stand up, terrific. If you're busy eating, you can raise your hand vigorously. So let's start, I'll start the first one. How about that? So, who has lived in Missoula for at least 1 month? So you see, if you've been here at least 1 month, you're a Missoulan. So there you go.
Okay, my turn. And whoever is the eldest sibling in your family, raise your hand or stand up. Woohoo! Yay for the oldest. Yay.
We don't want to leave out the people who are middle and youngest or only. So if you're middle, youngest, or only.
And the last one we're going to do is stand up or raise your hand vigorously if your birthday is in May.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear everybody. Happy birthday to you. And, because we are an interfaith collaborative, we represent a lot of different traditions here. But it always seems to be a good idea to enter into what we do with a prayerful intention. And so I'd like to suggest that when we honor birthdays, we're also honoring creation, the wonder of creation, the gratitude that we have for being able to take a breath and see the weather, whether it's good weather or bad weather. So I would like to offer that we stand in an intention of gratitude and honor of creation. Thank you.
Thank you, Rabbi Laura. My goodness. Thank you, Rabbi Lori and Barbara, president of our board. Give them a hand. Absolutely. So, my name is Casey Dunning. I'm the executive director of Missoula Interfaith Collaborative. Thank you all for being here with us this evening. Thank you for just taking the evening and sharing food with us. I'm going to give us a little bit of just the breadth of what MIC is about, what we do, and kind of walk us through some celebrations. Many of you here are a part of the work that happens within MIC on a daily basis. So thank you so much for being here. So I'm going to start. I want us to just kind of walk through just this one experience that really just gets to the essence and the true kind of reality of what MIC is trying to do on a daily basis, okay? So, if you will, if you can just take a second, and I just want you to imagine, I want you to hold a person that you just hold incredibly dearly within your life. I want you to imagine that person. And you're in the same space with that person. You're in that room. And whether it's with words or without words, I just want you to communicate to them that they are loved. They are respected. They don't have to do anything to earn that. They just are. And as you're in that space with this person, however you can imagine this, I want you to see them tell you that they actually believe you. In its essence, everything that we do within MIC is about that. We do a lot to help people with housing and food and work, but it's really through that work that everyone is invited into this community, this place where we can belong, this place where we can connect with relationships that are emphatically, even assertively reminding us that we are loved, that we're respected, that we're worth all of this work that it takes just to have a stable life here in Missoula. That's really what MIC is about. And so when we think about why MIC, I want to introduce you to this concept, maybe you've heard of it, of collective illusion. Collective illusion. It's this idea that most people in a group will actually go along with an idea that they don't even believe, simply because they assume that everyone else in the group actually believes it. It's this collective illusion. Now, there's some illusions that I think MIC stands to clear up. It's this illusion that most people are too entrenched in our divisive ideologies, too focused on ourselves to care for one another, to work through the differences and really work together to get things done for our community. Most of us? Really? I don't think so. I don't think that's actually the reality. I think, sure, there's this self-centeredness. We see it. We see toxic divisiveness. We see it on the news. It's very real. But I don't think that it's most of us. I really don't think so. I think MIC, I think you all that are part of this stand as proof that at least a lot of people want to know, want to trust, want to work with people with different views. A lot of people are willing to sacrifice and come alongside of one another, their neighbor, in absolutely amazing ways. A lot of people want to actually build community. We want to belong. We want to have relationships that matter. We just need the invitation. The kinds of relationships where you can mess up Rabbi Lori's name and she's going to forgive me. Didn't even notice, huh? Okay. So this work that goes on within MIC, there's so many leaders, there's thousands of people that are involved in this, and I just want to give us a chance to kind of walk through and celebrate some of the amazing work that has gone on. And as I do that, if you're a part of Family Promise, or you're part of HAN, or you're part of Missoula Works, I just want you to stand and or just wave your hand and be recognized as we walk through this and really celebrate everything that has gone on, okay? If you get that slide up that kind of walks through the different things that we've done. So there's this work that we do on a regular basis, on a monthly basis, where we work with 25 different faith communities, and we're bringing people together across difference in gatherings. In these gatherings, we're sharing our traditions, we're sharing our song, we're working towards partnerships, we're doing the work that it takes to create these types of relationships. If you've been a part of any of those Action Network gatherings just over the past year, would you just raise your hand really high? Raise it up. Give them a round of applause. In the coming year, this group of people across 25 different organizations is going to work through what we call this season for 1,000 new relationships, where we're gathering people in twos and fours, in big groups, people who would never otherwise be in the same room with each other. The purpose is to encounter each other, to share stories, and truly, really, to become full humans to each other, beyond whatever label that we might come into the room with. And it's really just through this work that we will continue to create the care and the trust that's needed to partner and to take on whatever next hard challenge that we're going to be working on. These partnerships have been being created throughout the last decade. They've created things like Family Promise and the Housing Advocate Network. Family Promise, you know who you are. Family Promise works with the YWCA to provide shelter and meals and hospitality for families at the Meadowlark. Then we have the Housing Advocate Network. These are folks who literally rearrange their lives. It's 80 different people who are committing substantial amounts of their week to walk alongside people who are just desperately needing even just a roof over their head. Family Promise, if you're involved in Family Promise or the housing, would you raise your hand if you're an advocate? Raise it up really high. Give them a huge round of applause. These folks shelter 31 families every single night, 60 to 80 kids. It's been 107 families sheltered this year. 107. They share dinner nightly, reading groups, play groups. Over 10,000 meals have been served through Family Promise. There's been over 1,000 folks who have walked into some of these doors through the Family Housing Center or over at our offices that have been helped with resources and support to find housing. One of the biggest one, there's been over 20 families who literally never had to lose their housing because we were able to support them before they had to lose it. Thank you. And of course, over 100 families or individuals have been able to be housed through Family Promise or the Housing Advocate Network this year. Give them a round of applause. Okay, so then we have Missoula Works. Missoula Works is 3 different businesses that are striving to create meaningful work for everyone Can you raise your hand if you're a part of the Get It Done crew? Can you raise your hand if you've hired the Get It Done crew ever? We need more people hiring the Get It Done crew, so next year, okay? So we have the Get It Done crew. We have a temp to perm staffing agency that supports people and walking alongside of them to be able to be placed in area businesses. And then we have this Sewing Ventures, which is a manufacturing company. Raise your hand if you're a part of that sewing crew at all, or a part of that at all, okay? Raise your hand if you've bought a backpack or something in the last year, okay? We'll talk about the backpacks in a little bit. 63 people have been employed through Missoula Works throughout this last year. It's a lot of people. One last round of applause for all that stuff. It's really through this support that our focus has been to build this community of belonging, where folks through our programs can come into supportive and healing relationships that will be there for each other, well beyond getting any kind of housing or work. We have these morning gatherings. We all gather in every morning and just big circle. And we're just sharing, here's what's going on in my life. Here's what I'm struggling with, so that people can be there for each other. We have these potlucks all the time. People are bringing their kids, bringing their significant others. We're sharing food. We're playing games together. It's this space, it creates this space where just natural friendships form. The people who are going to be there with me, with my family, be there for each other, well beyond any kind of housing or work or any kind of helping relationship. It's called social fabric or friendship. Now, this is also a place for healing relationships. The daily work of walking with traumatized folks is in and of itself traumatizing. Our staff, our volunteers need a space to reflect, to make meaning, to kind of sort out our own crap, to calm our own nervous system. We need that kind of support, or it's very likely actually that we can create a heck of a lot more harm than we are creating healing. And so one thing that's happened this year, we've created a relationship with Courtney Arnson. She is our spiritual caregiver. She's a Missoula chaplain. She has really embedded herself in our community. She provides one-on-one support. She does these kind of interactive workshops that are designed to help process secondary trauma. And it gives us the tools to just kind of keep at it on a regular basis. Courtney, would you wave? There's Courtney. And in case you're wondering, she can do this with your business or your nonprofit or for you, that's for sure. We also have these amazing supporters that have come through things like fundraisers. One person has offered her skills and her lifetime of education as a naturopathic doctor. She comes every single month and offers health and diet-related kind of coaching. Her name is Dr. Sarah Lane. Raise your hand if you would. Okay. She's just known as Dr. Sarah around MIC. She's wildly popular, that's for sure. Okay. One last recognition I want to make sure we have create the space for this. If you're on the board or you are a staff of MIC, would you just actually stand up? No raising hands, stand up. If you're on the board or you're one of the staff, give them a huge round of applause. Okay. So housing, food, employment, community, belonging, healing. I want to leave you with just one other little kind of imagination here. If you were at our potluck last Friday, just imagine walking in to this place. It was outside. You walk in and there's like freshly cut grass by the Get It Done crew, by the way. On the right, there's like food. There's a table full of food. Over here, on the left, there's like all these games. There's like horseshoes and bocce ball and croquet. A couple of folks who had just come there the day before looking for housing, and you're dang right they got invited to the potluck. They're over there playing horseshoes. There's another young lady. She's sitting in a chair, and it's a bunch of people. We're kind of awkward. She's kind of maybe awkward, sitting there, not really knowing how to engage, but there's someone sitting with her, engaging, as awkward as it might be. Yeah, there's chatting, and there's some laughing going on. But what is going on as the real kind of story underneath this? There's an elderly woman sitting, and she's chatting with this young teenager, and the teenager is like wildly, amazingly like interested in who she is and her story. And the woman's like, oh my goodness, this young person wants to know who I am, right? There's a guy, got out of prison last year. He's like running around playing with the kids, like swinging on the tire swing, kind of not worrying about anything. Well, any kind of social gathering up till now, he's like back against the wall. No one's getting behind me. You're not safe if I can't see you. But not here. He's been at this a year, connecting with people. I don't know, I think some faith leaders might call this kind of stuff an experience of the divine. Some therapists might call this stuff healing. We call it community. And we invite our participants, we invite our volunteers, we invite our donors, we definitely invite you to come, potluck, take part, belong. Thank you. Okay. So much of what is happening within MIC is just folks who are in whatever hard time or in their life, and other people are coming alongside of them, being the people who are walking with them. So Lori's going to kind of share a bit of her own experience in that time in her life. It's really as an example, as a way to share so that we can actually think about that for ourselves. When is a time when you just needed someone to walk alongside of you? And who was that person? Who comes into your mind? And at whatever level you're willing to share that story, Lori's going to share her story, and then we're going to kind of share it around the tables as well here in just a little bit. But go ahead, Rabbi Lori.
Okay, thank you. So, reaching out for help. I was thinking hard about a time that I had reached out to either a person or a group of people for help, and at first I was kind of stumped because I tend to be pretty self-sufficient, and that might sound familiar to many of you in this room. You know, I try to take care of business on my own, and I sit with the things that hurt. I don't always reach out about them. And in fact, when I was a congregational rabbi, I was often in the role of being the person that people come to, you know, for help. I mean, it was part of the job, and it even happens now, even though I'm no longer, you know, the spiritual leader of a congregation. And I think maybe over the years, I've tried a little too hard to get along by myself and maybe miss the times when it would have really been constructive to reach out. And some of you may have had that experience too, you know, that you could have done better if you asked for some help instead of trying to go it alone. So after a few days of trying to think about a story about a time I reached out for support, I realized it's right in front of me. And it's something that's going on right now. And because it's a sensitive matter, and because I have compassion for all the people involved, I'm not going to give you details. I'm going to skip the details of the conflict, except to say, after 2 months of sitting on this and keeping it to myself, I reached out to 4 of my Montana rabbinic colleagues for spiritual and emotional support, and they're now engaged in helping me resolve this issue. And then I also reached out to a few friends who are doing the same. And I think it's going to be a slow process for this to come about. You have to affect hearts and minds to get a really healthy, genuine reconciliation. But it gives me hope for the future that I've got support. It makes me feel held, makes me feel surrounded by love and caring. And it keeps me from feeling completely isolated. And I think that's what's so important about the work that MIC does, is that when people reach out for help, it's usually because they've kind of gotten to the end of their rope, and they just really need it now. And MIC is there to provide that support. And so reflecting on this theme of reaching out, I think that it can bring powerful benefits. It can help fix a difficult situation, for sure. But even more than that, it can show you that there are good people in the world who'll be your friend in a tough time. And I'm so, so grateful for that. And I want to hand it back over to Casey, who's going to give a little bit background about the exercise we're going to do at our tables.
Thank you, Rabbi Lori. Give her a hand again. Okay. Okay, so really just, the question or the reflection is, when you think about that time when you just needed someone to be there for you, who was that? Who is that person? Share who that person is. Share that story. It doesn't have to be the absolute worst time in your life unless you want to share that, for sure. But let's just take some time, 10, 15 minutes, and just share who are those people that have shown up? Who's that person that pops into your head? Who's that person that's like there talking to you all week long, all the time in your life, right? Okay, so 10 or 15 minutes, and we're going to come back, and we have a couple of our leaders who are going to share their stories, and we'll go from there. Go ahead. Okay, we're going to start wrapping up here, bringing it back up front. We'll give you a little time to finish up your stories. Okay. If you can hear me, there's my timer. If you can hear me, clap once. If you can hear me, clap 2 times. If you can hear me, clap 3 times. Thank you so much. I don't sing like Rabbi Lori that well to get people's attention, so I have to do that. So, okay, I hope you had a chance to just connect and kind of share whatever story you're willing around your own table. I think that's one of the beautiful things that's happened with the leaders in MIC. It's really a participatory we're engaging thousands of people to say what's going on in your life, what's making things hard, what is your story, because it becomes part of the collective story of MIC. So thanks for whatever willingness you had to share around your own tables. So I have here Elizabeth Kester and Matt Scott. They are a couple of leaders that have been within MIC for over a year. They're also the stars of the video, so give them a round of applause. They're going to just share their own experience within MIC as partnering together and doing a lot of the work within MIC to be leaders just in this last year. So to get started, Elizabeth, would you just tell us just a little bit about yourself and just kind of how you came to MIC, and we'll start from there. Go ahead.
As you have seen in the video, I started to sew professionally at 16, and I haven't stopped yet. I lived and worked in Missoula for most of my life, and in 2016, I actually retired. But 2 years ago, I found myself in a very dire situation, and I desperately needed housing, and I couldn't find anything that I could afford on my Social Security. So I didn't know what to do, and one day I tried everything. I tried to find housing, but I ran into walls at every turn, and then one day I found myself at the Poverello Center, desperate and destitute, and I was hoping that they would take me in, but all they offered me was a 4-inch foam mat on the floor. And I was mortified when I had to tell them that there was no way I could get up from the floor by myself. And the guy must have felt sorry for me, because he told me the best bet I had was to go to East Missoula, to the truck stop, park there and sleep in your car, and you can use the facilities and they ask no questions. And that's what I did. By then, I didn't have any self-esteem left, and I had felt useless and old, and I didn't know what to do, and my heart went out of fib. It went completely out of rhythm, and for 4 days, and then I finally went to the emergency room, and they put me in the hospital, and they stopped my heart, and then they restarted it again, and then I was better. But the whole time in the hospital, the biggest relief was I had a roof over my head, and I didn't have to deal with the extreme heat outside during the day. So when I was in the hospital, I had already heard about MIC. So the minute I got released, I went to the MIC office, and I imagined they would have an apartment for me, but that wasn't it. But they did help me to fill out all these applications. And when I felt really hopeless, all of a sudden, Zeke remembered, oh, there was a woman who called. She's looking for a roommate, an elderly woman, and she's renting one room. And so 3 hours later, I moved in. And then I heard about MIC adding a sewing shop. And that was right up my alley, and so I applied and was hired. 3 months later, I was employed making backpacks and fanny packs and totes and all the lovely stuff that we're doing. And I did not feel alone and desperate anymore.
Thank you, Elizabeth. So, Matt, how about you?
Well, I had joined the Marine Corps at age 20.
And with everything that happened in there, I came out with a lot of issues and a lot of problems, and it ended up culminating in felony convictions and spending time in jail. And when I got out of jail, I knew I needed to do something to create a new life. I needed to get rid of everything and everybody from the old life, and I was literally 100% alone up here. I have no family up here. So I had heard about MIC, and I went in, and I ended up talking to Emma a couple times, looking just for a new community, for something to do, a place where I might be able to use my life experience, I guess, to help others. You know, like I said in the video, I don't have the book learning, but I've dealt with addiction and justice system stuff and mental health issues and homelessness, and Emma suggested the volunteering, and I went to the training like a week later, and now I'm at the open office hours 3 to 4 days a week. I'm just trying to be there to help anybody that comes in.
Thanks, man. So somewhere in all of this, you two met each other and started to partner. So Elizabeth, will you tell us about that?
Well, my temporary housing lasted for about a year, and then it turned into a horrible nightmare. It was bordering on elder abuse almost. So I had to find new housing, and I had to find it fast. Now, Daisy had helped me in so many problems, but she couldn't help me with this one. So she introduced me to Matt, who's helping people find housing. And I told him exactly what I was looking for and all my limitations. And the very next day, I had 4 addresses. He gave me 4 addresses that I could look up and check out. And I couldn't do any of the computer work because I'm just not computer savvy. But Matt did all of the work for me, and when it was time to look at the housing, he was by my side. I didn't feel alone, and when the time came to move, he was there with his truck. He had become a true friend, and he was with his truck to help. And the whole crew of Get It Done showed up, and Daisy and her husband showed up, and 10 people moved me in an hour and a half. And so I had never in my life experienced this kind of support. People just being eager to help you whenever you need anything. I don't have to worry. There's always somebody there to help me. And I realized that I found a new family and a big sense of belonging.
Okay, so Matt, we talk about what MIC is about. Like in a couple sentences, how would you describe it?
I'd say MIC is it's about creating a network of people, relationships, family. It's a community where everybody's accepted, everybody belongs, and has support for everybody from the best of times to when your world's falling apart. You know, they're there for you.
Yeah, so do you have, I don't know, how has that impacted you? Do you have a couple other little stories?
Yeah. Well, first, my mental health stuff and everything, I'm always on time. If I'm on time, I'm late. I'm early, I'm on time. But one day I was running late, actually, to MIC, and my phone went off, a text message, and it was who I was supposed to be volunteering with, and my anxiety went through the roof. I didn't even want to look at it, because I figured, you know, it's going to be, where are you? But it wasn't, where are you? It was, are you okay? Because I wasn't there like I normally am. And another one, my support people that I have, that I talk to daily, weekly, whatever, they all happen to be going on cruises to the Caribbean at the same time. So they're all going to be away. And so I talked to Daisy and asked her if something came up, if I'd be able to get a hold of her. So I have somebody to talk to. And she told me that I better day or night, no matter what, not go through it by myself, to reach out to her. So with those kind of things, I've been searching for community, family, purpose for 20 plus years, and I finally found it here at MIC. So, yeah.
Daisy's here tonight, by the way, in case you want to meet this famous person. Elizabeth, how about you?
Well, this is actually the best job that I've had so far in my life. I get treated with respect. Everybody is kind. My skills and my experience is appreciated. And the sewing is easy. I love it. I love going to work every day. And there's always a surprise waiting around the corner. I remember one day the boss walked in and told us to turn off the machines. So we all turned off the sewing machines. What now? And we had to dance the polka for 5 minutes to get our blood flowing again. And every month we get together and have potluck. This last potluck, I brought a buffalo tongue, and I was surprised, but everybody ate it. And last month, I turned 80, and MIC gave me a birthday party with the balloons and the decorations and the cakes and the food, the works. It was so wonderful. And I felt that my self-worth has returned. My self-esteem is back where it used to be. I can pay my rent, I can pay my bills, and I have to say, life is great at 80.
Thank you, Elizabeth and Matt. Here you go.
Oh, boy. These stories, now this is actually the third time that I've heard Matt and Elizabeth tell their story. The first time was on Zoom. The second time was earlier today, just before we started the program. It touches my heart every single time because it's so real. And they are amazing because, I'm a microphone hound. I'm a lounge lizard. These guys are not used to getting up in front of a crowd. So everybody, please give them an appreciation.
Well, as board president, it's been a really interesting situation when I used to run a nonprofit, and the statement has always been, it's the mission, not the money. Well, MIC has a great staff, and we've employed a lot of people, but it kind of is about the money. And when we know they could work other places, and they're here at MIC, that really it impresses me. I think it's just a really, really neat thing. What you've seen here tonight is a lot of people centering their mission in their lives. And what we're asking you to do now is to step toward that financially this evening. So we'd like you to, there's such a thing as a stretch gift, and what we'd like you to do is consider that. And a stretch gift is one of those that makes you think a little bit. It's not something that, oh yeah, I can give you $5, that's no problem. But it's something that really makes you feel like you're contributing in a very, very substantial way. If this is your first time hearing about MIC, we would love to talk to you more about it. Many of you have been with MIC for a very long time. The table hosts, if you would please hand out the donation envelopes, and if you would take your card out. Some of the friends at MIC, some of the friends that we've had for a while, are able to give at a $10,000 or a $25,000 level, and we sure appreciate that, and we would love to have you contribute to that again. this is the back of the card, the one with the little QR symbol on it. And as you can see, there are several levels on this card. Aim high, we'd love you to do that. But there's a level for 5,000 and above, and one for 2,500 and above. And those are great, you know, one time we're going to get this done gifts. Some people need to break that up a little bit. We love to have the people who can contribute monthly. And there are a variety of ways we can do that, and Rebecca can help you figure all of that out. There also on this card is a square that says, we would love for you to volunteer, and we'd like you to fill this out, just the places where you'd like to volunteer and some of the things you'd like to do. And we can, even if you're a little bit interested, we would love to talk to you more about that. On this side of the card, we'd like you to fill this out. It's very important that we have your contact information if you would like to get a newsletter from us so that you can see what's going on. At our table just now, we heard about one of the Get It Done crew that's starting a library, and so he's looking for books to give out. He's got a huge, I think, a really big account at the book exchange, and so anybody from MIC can go and get books for their kids or whatever on the MIC account. So Eric is working on that. So that there are all kinds of things that we're doing. But it's important, and it shows up in the newsletter. So that's a really fun thing. But if you would please fill that out completely. You can do the QR code. You can do the credit card. So I'm going to give you a minute to fill that out. Thank you very much. Go ahead and keep filling those out. I want to I'm so grateful that you were here tonight. This has been a really interesting thing for me to be able to MC. And we'd love you to stay and visit. We have one request though. Our Sewing Ventures has their backpacks and their fanny packs and totes and everything over here. All of it is on sale for half price tonight. It's a big deal. And there also is a Milwaukee trail bag that they're taking orders on that is absolutely fabulous. It's got like a place for your laptop and the whole thing. It's like vegan leather. It's really, really neat. So thank you very much for coming. Go shop, and we'll see you later. Thank you.